Today we're doing a review of the Pioneer Panda Pack 2.0. This guy's adorable, Margaret, I love it. In this video, I'm gonna take my experience of reviewing 500 plus of the world's best bags, and we're gonna tear this thing apart. I'm gonna pack it out, give you my honest pros and cons, and if you're not quite sure if this is the bag for you, you're gonna wanna stick around to the end of the video, where myself and Timothy, my newly named Panda, we're gonna let you know a couple of alternative bag suggestions that are gonna be close to the Panda Pack, but a little bit different, so you can find the bag that best suits your needs. Let's talk about the gist of the Pioneer Panda Pack 2.0 backpack. Pioneer's a really interesting brand because they're doing their own thing, and I really respect them for it. And this is the third bag we're reviewing by them. Previously, we reviewed the Duration, I think the other one's the Savant, and I'm not gonna lie, I like their style. I like what they're doing. And Pioneer is dubbing it as the ultimate travel tool, which is a bold claim. Let's talk about some of the bag's top features. We've got a custom Mandarin nylon fabric, 2 zippered side pockets. We've got 2 zippered front pockets, clamshell style opening to the main compartment, a super minimalist harness system, and a pretty impressive ability to self-stand. So let's start by talking about the size of the bag. We got a height of 17 inches, a width of 12 inches, and a fully packed out base depth of around 9 inches. I've already gone ahead and filled this bad boy to the brim with our capacity measuring balls. So let's give you the capacity section by section. Starting with the side pockets. This first black line is 1 liter, second is 2 liters, so the pockets combined, it's around 1.5 liters of space. Top pockets, beefier than it looks, around 1.5 liters capacity as well. We're getting there. Really testing my patience, little Panda Pack. We got everything. Nope, there's still more. Timothy, can you see anything else in there? We're clear? Okay. So that bottom pocket got about 1 liter of volume. Sort of about 5 liters just for those pockets. And the main compartment. Well, my kind of vibe is confirmed here. Is where we have 5, 10, 15, 20. This should be 25. You can see we're coming in well below that. This definitely felt like a 20-liter bag when I was using it in my day-to-day the past week, and our volume test confirms it. I think if you overstuff the crap out of it and include the laptop compartment, which we did not do, you might be around 25 liters, but this definitely feels and carries much more like a 20-liter. The Panda Pack currently comes in 2 color options. Pioneer advertises this bag to be 2.7 pounds, but I'm getting 3 pounds on scale number 1 and 3.1 pounds on scale number 2. This is the bag when it's empty, and this is the bag when it's fully packed out and worn on the Nomads Nation squad. I'm 5'8", and our media manager, Margaret, is 5'2". And don't worry, we're gonna pack out the bag throughout the entire review so you can see exactly what it fits. All Pioneer bags are protected by their 1,000,000-mile guarantee, which is basically a lifetime warranty. And for all that, this bag runs a pretty hefty price point of just under 400 USD. And if at any point during this review you're thinking about making a purchase or you want to find out more information, we highly recommend doing so using the first link in the description below. Reason being, that link makes sure that you get the best price, and we oftentimes have discount codes. But that link also helps to support the Nomads Nation YouTube channel and team, so we can keep making the best bag reviews on the web. Thank you very much. Let's talk about the front of the Pioneer Panda Pack 2.0. Now, the first thing to talk about with the front of this bag is its aesthetic. Because I think this is gonna be a make or a break for you. But to be honest, if you're watching this, it's probably something you're a big fan of. Because if not, you would have been gone already. And this is one thing I commend Pioneer on, is they've developed quite a unique aesthetic. And this is the most pockety of all their aesthetics. As to where it's kind of like a dad bag, basically think of Tom Bihn, but sexified. And it's like, dude, pockets with their own volume are f***ing awesome. So let's make it hotter. Because of Tom Bihn, I'm sorry, they're not cool looking bags. Love Tom Bihn, nothing but respect for you guys. And then on top of it, Pioneer's like, dude, let's also celebrate zippers and show some of the teethiness that zippers have. I'll talk about the zippers in a bit more detail in a second, but first let's talk about the fabric, which I love. This is Pioneer's custom-made Mandarin 840. Now here's the thing, a fabric like this for a bag nerd like me is awesome. As to where it's an 840D ballistic nylon basically, but the weave is just a little bit different. And I can get so sick of 840D nylons. I've seen a million of them. This one just feels different and refreshing and kind of like elevated. But if you're not really like super nerdy, then this isn't gonna be as big of a selling point for you, and it's kind of one of the big things you're paying for. Because one recurring thing about Pioneer bags, I think from a price to value perspective, like trifecta, they're not the best brand. 400 bucks for this bag, that's a lot, but keep in mind one of the things you're paying for is this beautiful custom developed fabric. But a nylon like this is gonna have a ton of abrasion resistance, decent weather resistance, and just kind of look amazing without drawing too much attention. One other awesome thing to note about the front of the Pioneer Panda 2 is no branding. Only place I can see it right now is right here on the back panel, which is definitely something you're gonna want if you're dishing out 400 bucks on a bag. And actually just a riff on the pockets in general. I freaking love them with a huge caveat. These pockets, dude, are just so awesome and easy to use. And like, they've got their own volume, and it's like you got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. And the access points were so amazing. Now, granted, I use this for my EDC, you know, going in and out of trains and Ubers in Hong Kong where I live. But I get the gist, whether I was using it for EDC or traveling, this thing just slaps to use. But when you are traveling with it in a new destination, let's say, you know, like me the other day, I'm on the Hong Kong MTR and it's packed, like, you know, rush hour to the brim. I got the Panda pack behind me and people are smushing in, and I'm just like, if there is a pickpocket behind me, or if somebody is curious what's in those pockets, they're having a freaking field day right now, because I can't stop them. And that's just the concept of these pockets, as to where they're not very secure. They're so easy to open for you, equals they're also so easy to open for a potential thief. And as a travel bag, that's something that means a lot more to me than necessarily in an EDC, because I live somewhere where, you know, pickpocketing isn't really a problem. Here in Hong Kong, things are pretty safe on that neck of the woods. See, it's sort of an interesting conversation. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Is the access to these pockets like just next level accessibility and like that's working for you? Or is it too much of a security risk for you? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Bottom pocket, we got a key leash that is also removable. This is the future. Right now we've got Pioneer, Rework, Tom Bihn, and Firo that are doing removable key leashes. I promise you, in 3 years, all the brands will be doing it. Because why not? It just makes the most sense. Don't sew it in. Oh, good point, Margaret. Alpaca does it sometimes too. In here we have a liner divider. And then for the top pocket, liner divider as well. Love this lining, by the way. This sort of gold clay with the green. Chef's kiss, that is beautiful. Now these pockets are great because of the volume. You can see right here, I got my Unbound Merino hoodie, and it's literally gonna fit in that bottom pocket. But you're probably just gonna put your keys on the key leash, throw a few things behind the sleeve. I got meds, I got gum, I got chapstick, I got Timothy, and then I'm gonna throw my over-the-ear headphones. You can see it's a perfect fit. Top, we're gonna do sunglasses behind this little lining divider. We got some volume here as well, so you can throw your AirPods. And if you wanna keep a hard shell glasses case in there as well, can be done. I can't emphasize enough, the versatility and just functionality of these pockets is amazing. I just think that the only downsides are security and the look not gonna be for everyone. And just on that point, let's just wrap up the last point of the aesthetic and the look of this bag, are the teethy zippers. Is this a celebration of zippers, or is this a blasphemous degradation of the travel bag? I'm curious to hear your thoughts about the zipper teeth look. I don't love it, not gonna lie, but I think it works well with the entire vibe of the bag. And it's great because there's no PU coated zippers. So none of these zippers are gonna peel, and they move and zip and unzip. So smooth. Moving on, let's talk about the middle of the Pioneer Panda Pack 2.0. This bag self-stands like a champ. For instance, I have fully packed out the 2 front pockets, which means that all the weight is in the front of this bag. And you can see, although it's Leaning Tower of Pisa and hanging by a thread, it's still self-standing. And Pioneer bags are so well designed from this sense. And so what they do is they've added this crease underneath the bag and thrown some padding on it. And it's given it one of the best self-standing designs I have reviewed. The new Air City Pack Pro 2 also does this. It's just rare to see a bag packed out in the front, self-stand like this. It's really awesome, and it's one of the biggest selling points of the bag in my opinion. Side pockets, again, volume, access, bit of security risk, same beautiful kind of clay copper lining. But let's just run through a few examples of some things that will fit and some things that won't fit. Small tech pouches like my Evergoods Cap 0.5. We are fitting in there with full zipper closure. iPhone 13 as well. Hard shell glasses case, absolutely. Standard wallet, perfection. But you're gonna run into some trouble with like larger things. Let's take your typical 7-Eleven umbrella. You can see that the handle popping out, not gonna close. And let's see the Columbia water bottle. I don't think we're gonna get that closed either. You can see this guy's sticking out right there. So here lies the pros and the cons of the pocket like this. Pro, whatever does fit in there, like my iced tea that I was drinking earlier, you can fully close it. It's not competing with space in the main compartment, has its own volume, and therefore making it more secure, and just like the whole thing just works really well until you can't fit it in the pocket. Then you either gotta leave it open or find something that actually fits. All right, let's pack out the main compartment in a way that the bag is intended to be used as the ultimate travel tool. And this is gonna be the bag that you're probably gonna pair with your suitcase in most scenarios. So suitcase goes in the overhead bin, and this is the bag that you're putting underneath the seat in front of you. Which means you're gonna wanna have a reading book in the back sleeve here. Tote for some souvenirs, maybe a tripod if you need any photos or videos taken. Yet again, Pioneer, just throwing me little curveballs with your materials. Like, they got really nice selection. This one's quite nice because it is elastic from left to right, but not from up to down, north to south. We've got a little sleeve back here as well. Could be a good spot for some backup meds. And then in the main compartment, we got tech pouch I'm gonna throw here. Another tech pouch, hoodie. I think I can get my Switch 2 case in there as well. Absolutely. I stand by what I said earlier and by our capacity measurements. This doesn't feel like a 25-liter bag. I reviewed hundreds of bags. This feels like 20. Let's talk about the last few notes in the middle. You can see right here that we got a decent top handle. I actually like what Pioneer has done here as to where we have this buckled fabric-y part. And this just gives the bag a nice look, but also it makes the handle a lot more comfortable. So you can see you can go ahead and just pop these buckles in. This is really nice fabric. It's like a nice nylon webbing. One of the nicer nylon webbings I've ever seen. Actually, this is beautiful. And this is sort of what you're getting with Pioneer. Little elevated design touches and an overall design that none of their competitors really have. But is that worth $400? Top handle also very well stitched. You can see all this reinforced stitching. And you got a couple of lash points in the top of the handle as well. And finally, the bag does come with a luggage tag where you can write your contact information on. Now, before we jump into the next section, I want to let you know that if you're really enjoying this review, then you might be smitten to find out that here at Nomads Nation, we don't just do gear reviews on our YouTube channel, but we also have the Nomads Nation newsletter. And in that newsletter, you can look at me like your reporter in the field. I'm behind the front lines, telling you everything that's happening in this amazing industry of travel and everyday carry gear. So if you want to keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening, I'm talking the newest drops, limited edition collabs, plus access to our exclusive discount codes and giveaways. You're gonna want to sign up to the Nomads Nation newsletter, which you can do by finding this globe emoji in the description below. Hope to see you in your inbox. Let's talk about the back of the Pioneer Pack 2.0. Got double zipper access. It should be noted too, these zippers are YKK, so best in the game. And you can see that Pioneer made a design choice that I'm confused by. I don't understand. I love that clay lining. Why do they switch the tech compartment to black? That doesn't make sense to me. Now it's kind of like a dark hole in there. Granted, you know, we're only gonna be putting our laptop in there. But still, I just love that lining. It was so sexy. In this compartment, we have a sleeve and then just the tech area. Now, I was not stoked about Pioneer's tech protection in their other bags. You can see my 13-inch MacBook Pro fits in there quite nicely. We got a little bit of a false bottom going on here. Not really though, it's reaching to the bottom, but it's pretty well padded. Remember I talked about the padding at the bottom, that fold that kind of helps it self-stand? You've got a few mm's of padding down there, which has definitely helped to create a bit of a buffer in case your laptop does slam towards the ground. Can my 13-inch laptop fit in the sleeve though? Ooh, it can as well. Now here's the deal. This sleeve, as you can see, is a nice spot for your laptop, and that is a bit elevated. Yeah, a bit, but we're gonna see if we can fit larger laptops in there as well. 16-inch MacBook Pro cutout, that is not gonna happen. But the 16-inch MacBook Pro will slide in the regular sleeve. So, final notes on the tech compartment. You can get a larger laptop in the main area with less protection, but still a little bit of padding on the bottom, or a smaller laptop in this difficult to show sleeve right here. You can see, that's it. That's our bad boy right there. And then you get a bit more tech protection. One other thing I was not in love with Pioneer bags in my previous reviews as well was the comfort and the entire harness system. Let me riff on that. Because here you can see, oh God, this thing is beautiful. Look at just how beautiful these shoulder straps are. Minimalist, no distraction and on them. They're just beautiful. But it does come at the cost of some functionality, especially in regards to comfort. I think the width of the shoulder strap is okay. We're just under 2.5 inches, but it's the depth and it's the density of the foam. It's a little bit more on the harder side. It's not as cushiony and soft as I typically prefer my backpacks to have. Let's just do a little testing of the actual depth. Yeah, you can see we got a depth of just over 1 centimeter, which, you know, it's okay. But also some people prefer that, to each their own. For me, I like a little bit more depth. But let's talk luggage pass-through, because it's very crucial to the user experience of this bag, because I think, like I said, most people are gonna be using it as a travel companion, like so. And this is great, because it matches kind of my Air carry-on suitcase. I like this luggage pass-through because it allows your bag to stand upright, as it should, and this just gives you such easy access to whatever you might have packed away in these different compartments of the bag. But if you notice with this bag fully packed out, we're getting some like tightness happening. I do think the luggage pass-through holder is just tied on a little too tight as to where when it's doing this, it's scrunching the bag in and it's really stressing the points where it's sewn in. Not to the point where I think it's gonna pop out, but I just think that they could have loosened this ever so slightly. It wouldn't have interfered with the back. The back panel has a bit of cushion, a slight amount of ventilation, but not much. And because of all that, like the comfort is good. Like I said, I was wearing this bag in my EDC for many days the past week, and it's just not my favorite shoulder straps. They're a little bit denser, but I also want to clarify, I didn't find this bag to be uncomfortable. The back panel actually feels nice, but for me, I definitely really would have appreciated a sternum strap. Now I get why Pioneer didn't include it. There's a vibe with their bags, right? It's like, dude, it's like sophisticated, elevated form with a couple of cuts on features that maybe they should have kept, but they're like, oh, we don't need that. But for me, I do need a sternum strap. Really important to me. Hashtag back health. And also talking about hashtags, let's bring the dangle protester. His name's Dan. Timothy, protest the dangle with us. Timothy, Dan, and myself, we're not a fan of this. I do believe that at this price point, there should be some sort of strap management system in place. I don't want to have to buy one myself. But overall, I do think the bag is comfy. I give it like a 3 to 3.5 out of 5. It's not uncomfortable, it's not the most comfortable, it's just kind of in the middle. But also, keep in mind that I'm just one man, and comfort varies on different people, depending on different body types. So if you want to hear anybody else's perspective on this bag, be sure to check the comments below. We get a lot of comments from people who have used bags previously, or you can ask your question in the Nomads Nation subreddit. We got one of the biggest communities of bag nerds on the web on that subreddit. So if you have any gear related questions, it's always a good place to ask. Let's wrap this up by talking about the overall pros and the cons of the Pioneer Panda Pack 2.0. Pro number 1, self stands like a champ. Pro number 2, I have to admit, I adore this Mandarin nylon fabric. It's nerdy, but I think it's beautiful. And pro number 3 is just going to be the incredibly convenient access of these 1, 2, 3, 4 pockets. But on the flip side, all bags have cons, and these 1, 2, 3, 4 pockets could be a pickpocket's wet dream. That's my first con. Con number 2 is we've got some compromises in comfort, particularly in regards to the shoulder straps and the lack of a sternum strap. And con number 3 is if you have a larger laptop, this bag might leave you craving for a bit more tech protection. But if you're still watching this, there's a good chance that you have weighed the pros and the cons. You think to yourself, dude, I see no cons. This bag is freaking brilliant and I'm totally gonna pick one up. Well, if that's the case, just a reminder that we highly recommend doing so with the first link in the description below. Reason being, that link makes sure you get the best price. And if we have any discount codes, that's what they'll be. But if you're not quite sold, let's talk about the alternatives that I teased earlier in the video. First up is going to be the Bihn Synik. Great pick for you if you are looking for a travel bag and you love the idea of all the pockets to have their own independent volume, but you need more. And you want the bag to come in at a little bit lower price point and just have an overall different aesthetic. I think Tom Bihn is like hipster as but honestly, this might be too sophisticated for some, and that Tom Bihn vibe might speak to you a bit more. And alternative recommendation number 2 is gonna be the Evergoods Civic Book Bag. Great pick for you if you like pockets to have their own volume, but you don't need the side ones. You're just cool like that old school front one, and you want just a bag that has a bit more of a subtle aesthetic. Evergoods is one of the best bag brands in the world, and their book bag, it's pretty cool. Every bag has its own set of pros and cons, but to learn more specifically about the alternative, just go ahead and watch these videos right here. If you got any questions about any bags, be sure to let us know in the comments below or in the Nomads Nation subreddit. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Aaron, this is Nomads Nation, and we'll catch you next time.